everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Christy Rose, and today I wanted to do kind of a story time type video. Recently I had just bought my first car. Well, it's not my first car, it's my first car without having work needed to be done on it. So I wanted to share that with you guys, so for people looking for like buying their first car or something can kind of look at this and so they know what to expect. I really wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it was a really fun experience but also a really tedious experience and I thought it would be good to share. So without further ado, let's get into it. I knew that I wanted to buy a car when my other car that I have, it's a 66 Impala, uses a lot of gas, and my parents currently own Priuses, so I would always borrow their cars to do daily driving so that I didn't use that much gas. So that was my first kind of hint at dude, you need a new car. And then there were other things like I couldn't go hang out with my friends because I had no gas or no gas money and things like that. So I wanted to get my own car, and I finally had the opportunity to recently, and I was searching Google and Craigslist, and I even downloaded Letgo and OfferUp and CarGurus, a ton of different car sites, and it took forever. I cannot tell you how many cars I went through. I looked at a Chevy Cobalt that was in decent condition, it ran and everything like that, it could pass emissions, but there was a ginormous dent in the door and it was completely sideswiped and you could barely open the door, so that wasn't the car for me. Going into this, I knew that I wanted a Toyota Camry because I don't know why, I just like sedans. My 66 Chevy Impala that I have is a 4-door, it's not a 2-door. I don't know why, I've always been drawn to sedans for some reason. And going into it, I knew I wanted a Toyota Camry, so that's what I was really looking for. And there was one that I went to go look at, but there was a couple things wrong with the engine, and my dad, who was the one helping me kind of look for a car, was like, that's not the right one for you, let's keep looking. And finally, after maybe a month and a half of looking, we saw this one on Craigslist, and it said 2000 Toyota Camry, engine makes noise at start, please text for information. So we texted them, and a couple days later they got back to my dad, and they were like, yeah, the only noise it makes is when you start it, there's a squeal. My dad decided that's a bell. So we decided to go take a look at it, and we wanted to, check it out. So we set the appointment to go check it out, and, as soon as I get there, I'm like, this car looks great. There's no body damage to it, maybe a tiny little dent in the fender, and it's looking like it's a good opportunity. So we get in it, and it's still great on the inside. This is a 2000s car, from the year 2000, so it's about 19 years old, and it looks like it's brand new. There are a couple stains in the floor and things like that, but it's all things that can be cleaned. So we start it, no noise. So my dad was a little confused, but that means that it was probably ran prior to us getting there, which is fine. And then we start driving it, and it looks fine, and it's working great, and it's driving great. My dad was like, okay, I'm gonna park it, and you're gonna drive it. I was like, cool. Now, I had never driven a Toyota Camry before, and for me, when I drive, I need to get a little bit used to the car. I've only been driving for about 2 years, so I need to get used to the car in order to drive it correctly. So I'm pressing on the brakes, and we're going, ugh, because I'm pressing on them either too hard or too soft. We are on this road, and it's about a 55-mile-an-hour road, so that's how fast we're going. So I come up to this light, and as I start to stop, the car starts to shake and goes like this, and the wheels like so I'm like, what is that? Like, kind of freaking out. And my dad's like, don't worry, that's just the rotors, you know, those can be replaced, and if you stop correctly, they won't do that. And I'm like, okay, alright. So I continued driving it, drove it around the block, and everything seemed perfectly fine with it. And I was like, okay, like, what are we gonna do? Because my dad has definitely been helping me, and since this is like my first kind of by myself, he wanted to get me the perfect car when I didn't have to work on too much and da-da-da-da-da. So we get back to the person's house that we're who is selling the car, and my dad starts talking to him, and he's like a bunch of information. And what surprised me is that my dad asked me, how much are you willing to pay for this car? Keep in mind, I have never had to negotiate anything before. Nothing. I haven't negotiated price on anything ever in my life. So my dad asking me that on the spot, I was like, like just stuck there in silence. I was like, I don't know. Just kind of being like, you say, like, I have no idea. And my dad offered the guy a certain amount, and the guy was like, yeah, I'll take that. And it was less than he had originally wanted, which made me so happy because it saved me money, and that money I needed to do some minor repairs and things in the car, which was fabulous, and I'm so thankful to my dad for that, and it was amazing. So we get home, and we, you know, park the car and things like that, and we use an ozonator to get the smell out so I can, you know, put my own kind of scents in the car, and this car is mine, and I was so relieved. You don't even know. It took us so long to get the car, or at least it felt like a really long time. I know a month and a half is not that long, and I know people, it can take long time for people to get a really good car and a really good deal on a car. Luckily, we found it in that short amount of time. It could have definitely taken us longer, and I am very happy to have my car and things like that. And so we get home, and I start ordering things for my car. I ordered a stereo, and just recently, about 2 days ago, we were able to finish putting the stereo in, and my dad helped me with that. I tried to do it on my own, but I don't know how to wire, so I wasn't able to do it on my own, but my dad did help me, and now I have a brand new stereo in the car. I cleaned it, vacuumed it. I used to work at a car wash, so I knew how to sort of clean cars and things like that. So I did that to that car, I kind of detailed it, and it looks brand new, and I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy to have this car, and it was just a great experience for me. I love the fact that I was able to get it. If I were to give you guys any advice, if you are trying to buy a car that you want right away, and you need to start using right away, and you don't want a fixer-upper, definitely take your time. It is definitely what I learned most from this opportunity and from this experience that I've had, is to take your time and be patient. I am not a very patient person. Not patient. I am very impatient. But the fact that my dad made me slow down and made me look for a good car ended up me getting a great car, and I'm happy about it. It's great. I am ecstatic about it. I want to drive it everywhere, and I have nowhere to go. Like, now that I have a car, it's like fantastic. I don't have to worry about it. My stress is just gone, and everything like that. So definitely, if you are looking for a car, be careful, of course. You know, always make sure to talk to family members if you have a mechanic in your family, or talk to a mechanic if you know one, and make sure you are getting the best deal. And I'm so happy that I was able to do that. Anyway, that is the story time for today. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning into this video. I will see you all in the next one. Bye!